Good morning and welcome to Little by Little, a short time in God's Word. Today, January 9th, 2025, we are in the book of Genesis still, chapters 23 and 24, and Luke chapter 9. I'm going to pick it up in Genesis chapter 24. Genesis chapter 24, it's when Abraham is old, and he's starting to think about the future, which you don't have to be old to start thinking about the future, but he's kind of thinking about his legacy and what's to happen after. And he's got a son, of course, Isaac, and Isaac is without a wife, and so he's going to instruct his servant to not take a wife for him from the Canaanites and go back to his homeland and grab a wife from there. And so the servant's like, all right, we'll do that. And what we see is this picture of Abraham giving some instructions, and then the servant taking the instructions and saying, okay, well, let's see what God will do, right? Abraham says in verse 6, see to it that you do not take my son back there. In verse 7, the Lord, the God of heaven, who took me from my father's house and from the land of my kindred, who spoke to me and swore to me, to your offspring I will give this land, he will send his angel before you, and you shall take a wife for my son from there. Okay, so Abraham's like, here's how we're going to pick a wife. The Lord's going to show you. Right? If you're single and you're like, that's the plan, the Lord's going to show you. Yes, that's the plan. Out of all the relationships that you're going to have in your life, who you will marry is the second most important after who you will follow. Right? So I'm going to follow Jesus. And if that's your surrendered heart and you've been saved because you put your trust in Jesus, the next biggest question is marriage. And statistically, most people will at some point get married. But let's just remember, there's a cultural things here in Genesis like thousands of years ago. And today, marriage is not the be-all and the end-all. Marriage won't fix you. It can be a really good thing. It can be a really difficult thing, but most of all, it needs to be a really God thing. You don't want to just pick someone and say, well, we'll just give it a go, and if it doesn't work, we'll divorce. Right? You want to be led by the Lord, and the only way to do that is to be going after the Lord, and then inviting and waiting for God to work and move. Now, some of that's going to involve some effort on your part, right? You're probably going to have to get out of your house. You're probably going to have to clean yourself up and, get a job and be around where other people are and see where the Lord would direct you. And this guy, he goes out to the land, he comes back, and he asks God for success. And God's going to lead and direct. And he walks through, the chapter, and the hand of God is in this. Now, I'm not saying that there's marriages that aren't by the hand of God, but sometimes, right? And you're like, yes, see, that's why I want to get out of it. Yeah, but there's no exit plan there, right? That's not God ordained. Say, I want to follow the Lord. Okay, well, the Lord's heart for you is to love one another as you love God. And so that's why choosing well is very important. If you're already married, you've chosen, right? That's till death do you part. But as you make decisions going forward, guess what you get to do? You get to pray, and you get to seek the Lord and watch Him work in your life. So wherever you're at, whatever's going on, seek the Lord. Wait for Him to direct your paths. Till next time, keep growing little by little.